Before UEFA started a Women's Euros, before FIFA started a Women's World Cup, there were the Italian organisers who, during the 1960s, started to organise major events for women's football. One of these events drew a crowd of over 100,000 people. So across Europe in the 1960s, women's football was being played more and more. Internationals were being played, unofficial teams put together, and despite the ban in most countries across Europe, it began to build some momentum. This momentum built the quickest in Italy, who in 1968 created the first women's football federation to organise the sport. They created a league, and soon after, Italy played their first international match. And that's really where the journey of women's football really started to take shape, not with UEFA, not with FIFA, but with the small Italian federation. They recognised that women's football didn't need permission, it just needed organisers. It needed ambition, it needed someone who believed in it. In 1969, this Italian federation put on the first pre-UEFA Euros competition for women, the Coppa Europa per Nazioni. This wasn't just thrown together. They had sponsors. Martini and Rossi, the drinks brand, sponsored the event. And 4 teams competed: Italy, England, Denmark and France. Expenses for the tournament were covered by the sponsors, who were very generous throughout the formative years of women's football. They already understood there was a market and an audience for women's football. Because there were only 4 teams, the format was simple, just semi-finals and a final. Denmark and Italy reached the finals of this 1969 Italian event. Fittingly, Italy took the title. In the third, fourth place playoff, England beat France, and 10,000 people came to watch. And that's a key point, because when 10,000 people are coming to watch the match, you know there's an audience there now. It's getting harder to pretend that there is no interest. The audience was there, the organisers were there, the appetite was there, sponsors were there, and Italy had just proved it. The tournament was a success. Such a success that it drew interest from FIFA, not to try and get on board, but to try and stop it. The governing bodies weren't interested in trying to promote it and were waiting for an audience to be shown to them. They were actively still trying to suppress it, stop it. And once that became obvious, the stakes changed. It was no longer just a sporting curiosity. After the success in 1969, the Italian organisers realised they were onto something, and they wanted to take it worldwide. In 1970, they created their first World Cup. Not FIFA-backed. In fact, FIFA did try to stop it. The Coppa del Mondo was born. Again, Martini and Rossi sponsored the event, paying for travel and accommodation. This time, 6 teams were involved. This time, 7 teams took part. It should have been 8, but Czechoslovakia couldn't get their visas. The 7 who did take part were Denmark, Italy, Mexico, England, West Germany, Austria and Switzerland. Think about what that means. At the time, football federations were still trying to stop women playing. Italy had just brought together 7 nations to create their own World Cup. And the tournament again delivered what was needed to show that women's football was a viable option, a viable product. In the final, Denmark beat Italy in front of 40,000 people. A women's international final in 1970 with 40,000 people in the stands. That should have ended the argument right there, but it didn't. But the Italians weren't finished, and in 1971 they created an even bigger and better tournament. This time, the tournament was staged in Mexico. So in 1971, there was a women's pre-FIFA World Cup. Just the year before, in 1970, FIFA had put on a massive men's World Cup. Pelé was the hero of that World Cup. Brazil were a team that looked untouchable. Just 1 year later, Mexico hosted the Women's World Cup. This time, unofficial, organised by the Italians, but no smaller. They promoted the event in exactly the same way as they promoted the 1970 event with the men. A credit to Mexico's Football Association. FIFA tried to intervene, tried to stop it, tried to make everybody feel that this was not an option. They did not succeed. The tournament now is more widely perhaps known as Coppa 71. A brilliant film was made about it recently. Go and check it out once you've finished watching this. The event was played over 3 weeks into 2 different venues, one of which was the mighty Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. Guadalajara hosted the other games. England played Mexico at the Azteca and 80,000 people came to watch. Think about that, 80,000 people. But that was small fry compared with the final in the Azteca, where Mexico played Denmark and 110,000 people came to watch. Unfortunately for the host Mexico, Denmark won. Denmark have won these back-to-back World Cup pre-FIFA tournaments. Tens of thousands of people, in fact 100,000 people, came out to watch these matches. The game was there with all its popularity. FIFA just needed to get on board, but the football authorities still weren't ready to accept that women were playing football and playing it well and drawing in crowds. Despite the success, nothing had really changed. Denmark, who'd won 2 events in a row, 2 World Cups in a row, went home, were briefly celebrated, and then women's football got no further. It was all completely forgotten again. In fact, Denmark didn't recognise that their women's team had won these World Cups. The English team went back, having been adored in Mexico and treated like superstars, went back home and weren't greeted at all. And Harry Batt, who'd brought the team together and managed them, was banned from football, being involved with football for life, just because he'd taken an unofficial women's team over to an unofficial tournament. Many of the players were left to feel ashamed, made to feel ashamed, and were banned for some time from the game. And many never got over the embarrassment and the shame of that. It's not them who should be ashamed, it's FIFA and UEFA. Women's football was actively held back by football's governing bodies. And these tournaments have proved there was an appetite and an audience. It's just a shame it had to wait another 50 years before it started to grow again. So when people are talking about the history of women's football, it's thought that it started recently. Maybe when FIFA started their World Cup in 1991, maybe even more recently. But that's just not the truth. The truth is women's football was there and growing from very early on and attracting massive audiences and creating atmospheres and tournaments just like we see now. It just didn't have official support. A European tournament in 1969, a World Cup in 1970 and a massive World Cup in 1971. All thanks to the Italian organisers who saw the potential even then. Italy helped show the world what women's football could be. If you enjoyed this, consider subscribing here and going and watching the other videos to see what else you might learn. See you next time.